Hi, my name is Mitch Russo, and I'm the founder of Clientfolio. I created this product 4 years ago to help coaches be more efficient in session and to get better results from their clients. What you're about to see is a full system demo. It should last about 20 minutes or so, and you will have a really good understanding of the intricate details of Clientfolio after you go through this video. So get ready, I'm about to start, and let me know how you like it. Clientfolio is a software platform for coaches. It's designed to save time, increase the results coaches get, and be a complete coach operating system. What I'm about to show you now are the details of how to work it, what it looks like, and how it interacts with your clients. And we're going to log in now and take a complete look at the system. But before I do, I like to think of running the demo in reverse by showing you what the client gets after the session is complete. So let's take a look now at the homework email that your particular client will receive once the session is over. Notice that it's fully branded. This is your logo. Notice that you have language here that you can fully customize. Here are the notes from your session. There's a login credentials to the client portal, which you'll see in a minute. There's also an interactive question comments feature that all the homework can have if you choose to assign it, and allows your coaches to respond to questions directly from the clients. Here's the homework assignment itself. And by the way, a lot of my clients do their homework right here inside of that section. These are the stats. Every week I encourage my clients to keep track of the active stats that define success for them. And I highly encourage you to do the same. It's one of the hallmarks of how I've been able to get the amazing testimonials that I have. Finally, as we go down to the bottom of the page, we have the recording from the session, and we have the next meeting date for our session. Now let's take a look at the software itself. But before we do, I also want to show you what the client portal looks like. So let's go there first. This is the client portal. When your client gets their homework, they get to log in, and it looks like this. When they log in, this system is designed to deliver very targeted information to your client. The first thing it's going to do is show them the 4 most important things they need to know, and then I'll get into some of the other details of the screen in a minute. So from the dashboard, they can choose a past session. They could see numerically what their stats are cumulatively over the time you've been tracking, and they have these 3 programmable buttons that you get to define inside the system, so that if you want them to book a call with you or join the meeting right on Zoom or go to the group that you've set up for training, you can put those buttons right here on the screen. The next thing that people like to do is go take a look at their past sessions. Now, what we have here is the ability for clients to enter questions that they have, assign coach feedback, and we'll take a look at that in a minute. First, let's go down here to an older homework assignment. And here is where, for example, you could add comments. And this comment could be anything from, here's the client's homework right now. And in this case, the client says, hey, Mitch, just wondering what you meant by that. Can you please explain? What that really means now is that the coach is being asked a question, and the coach will have a chance to answer that question from inside the Clientfolio platform. But here's the new feature I love to show. It's called Coach Feedback. And you could disable this if you don't like it. But on every session, your client gets to rate you. If you like, you can include this, and if you have multiple coaches in the organization, this is something you could check and enjoy checking to see just how good your coaches are doing. So let's go back to the dashboard for a second, and the next thing we're going to take a look at are accountability questions. The accountability questions that you have assigned to this particular client for this particular session. Now, if you choose to allow your clients to choose their own or edit their own accountability questions, you could do that with that button. A lot of people don't like those to happen, so they just assign the questions themselves, and there is no flexibility for the client to choose them. We give you as many categories as you would like. We give you the first library called suggested questions, and from here you get to customize these, edit, delete them, or add your own categories filled with whatever questions you want. If you're running a course or a program, we encourage you to use these questions to track progress inside the modules. So now what you are doing as part of the coaching is making sure people have done the assignment and, in this case, can answer questions about it. The next thing is the stats. From here, what you want is you want your clients to fill in their stats every single week that you coach them. You could change the stats to be anything you want. So if revenue doesn't work for you, if you're a health coach, you might want to change that to calories or steps. But no matter what you have in here, these are numeric answers, and you could take a look here at the graphs and see how they look. In fact, the client from their client portal can see their own graphs. See how well they're doing. This particular client is doing quite well, as you can see. So these graphs are both encouraging and reassuring that working with you, the coach, is a profitable enterprise. Finally, at this point, we have everything there is to see, and this is really all the client needs. All they really need are the 4 things here. They need their past homework, their statistics, past sessions, accountability questions, and the buttons to reach whatever things that you want. That's what the portal looks like. And from here, it's time to get Clientfolio and see how the software works. And this is just like you would do every single day when you enter your system and get ready to coach. This is the main screen that you'll see. The main screen is going to be, and I'm going to explain everything to you, is going to have your session button here. These are the functions that you will want to do. And then you'll see the top populate with options. And then finally, there's this drop down, which is where actually we're going to start. This drop-down has a particular item called Edit Profile Settings. Now, we give you a duplicate button down here, Edit Profile, because it's so important. So right now, let's go to Edit Profile, and what I want to show you is how you would configure Clientfolio to work with you, and I'll explain some of the features along the way. Now, I told you before that you can enable the client portal for all clients, and you could choose to do that or not. You could also allow your clients to select their own accountability questions or not, and you could also allow them to add or edit accountability questions or not. The other thing you do here is enable the buttons on your client portal. You can name them anything you want. You could choose an icon for them, or you could just not enable them and only have 1 button or any number of buttons up to 3. Finally, you get to choose the client portal themes. These themes were designed to make sure that your client feels comfortable working with you. So if you're a life coach or you're a coach where you want a more homey feel, a more personal feel, you would choose this particular version. If you're a corporate type or like me, a business coach, you might choose this particular version. The other thing is, of course, for our overseas clients, we have date format changes. We also have custom terminology, so you can call your coaches partners or associates or anything you like. Very important, when you set up your profile as you are now, you must enter your time zone here. Very, very important. You'll see why later. Now, here's another set of options. Do you want your coaches, if you have multiple coaches, to edit past sessions? In my world, I say no, because I want an audit trail of all the work that they're doing. Do you want to enable the homework comments section I showed you earlier? I say yes. I like having comments and feedback. Do you want to exclude the date of the session on homework? You could do this selectively. You could turn this on and off. You have a coaching session on a day that's different from when you're entering the session into the software. So you could simply exclude the date and then enter it manually. Do you want coach feedback? Remember the 5 buttons, greatest coach ever? You could decide to disable that, or you can enable that. Do you want your coaches to receive a feedback email? Yes or no? The next set of options is, do you want your coaches to send homework reminders? Now, what this means is that once your coach sends out their homework, enabling the reminder system. So if you enable the reminder system, your clients are going to get a reminder email 3 days after the homework is sent. And you can have separate reminders for stats and goals and for accountability as well. Finally, we're getting to the bottom now, where you simply name your company, choose your company colors here, and then from there, we just upload our logo and we are all set. So that's your most important screen. This is what configures the system for you. And this again is called your profile. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to start customizing the system for our use. I like to start at the bottom and go up. I like to go to the Manage Homework Terminology page first. Here is where you get to set up your homework terminology any way you want. And you could have as many of these templates as you want, and you could even have them for every different coach in your organization if that's what you choose. Now, this may look a little techie, but I promise you it's not too bad once you get used to it. So number one is that these labels define where that particular thing goes inside your homework email. So notes start, notes end. It's sort of like programming. I apologize if it's too techy, but it makes a lot of sense when you see how it's going to look in a minute. You also are able to put in their client portal login credentials here. And by the way, this language here, that's the language that shows up. This doesn't show up, but the data does, and you'll see that in a minute. Now, let's say I wanted to add something else at the bottom of this message. I could simply put my cursor there. I can click this button here, and these are all the fields that I can insert into the homework itself. So if I wanted to insert, for example, the coach feedback block here, I can do that, and it would put the coach feedback button set right here the way I positioned it. If you don't want that there, you can simply go right here and just go, nope, I don't want that. That's fine. But if you do it, let's take a look how it looks. So we're going to put that there, and then now I'm going to say to myself, well, okay, we did that. I wonder what this looks like. So I'm going to hit the preview button, and now you get a preview with phony language so you could see what the whole thing looks like. This is your accountability questions. These are your stats. This is what you look forward to. Here's the client report. Here's leave feedback on this session. So all of this is here for you to program any way you want. I highly recommend that you go in here and customize the standard template we provide. And if you have different types of clients, just use the plus button here and create a new template. It's all there for you to do. So let's cancel out of here. And let's go to the next option. The next option is Manage Onboarding Package. I hope as a coach you have an onboarding package. Well, I have two. I work with other businesses, but I also work with consultants. So let's take a look at that. So if I go to edit the template, what you'll notice is that you could put in links for URLs. So let's say you have a bunch of training on YouTube and they're hidden. It's hidden training, meaning you don't publicize them on your channel, but you want to use them for your clients. Well, all you want to do here is just click this add more URL button, and you could add as many of these things as you want to your onboarding package. Same with files. Let's say you're uploading a disk profile for your clients to see. Just click it here and boom, it's uploaded any way you want. If you don't like any files at all, you can get rid of them. Finally, you define the subject of the email that's going to your client, and this is what the language looks like. We're delighted to be working with you. Look forward to your success. And by the way, if you want to add more fields, just like you could there, as I showed you before, then you hit the preview button, and that's what it looks like. And by the way, this is very plain, but you can make this anything you want. You could even put pictures in right into the body of this custom onboarding package. When you're ready, you could save it, update it, and cancel. Next thing we're going to talk about are the accountability questions themselves. I briefly mentioned them before, but this is where you create them. Now, when you get your systems from scratch, it's going to come with about 30 of these, what I call system questions. The system questions are questions that I have collected over the years that I have stolen from Zig Ziglar and Tony Robbins and all those cool people. Well, I use them all the time and I love them, and you can too. But you can also create as many of these categories as you want. So if you want a training program, as I said before, you can simply add that as a category, and from there you can change categories or do something else. So if you have a course, it's great for courses. If you're trying to coach people on their podcast, you can set up a whole category just for podcasting. This is how you manage your questions, and you could drag and drop them to arrange them in any order they want. So if I want this one here, it goes there. It's a very straightforward and simple process. Now let's go to the next module and take a look at that. That's the billing and payment module. Now this module is optional. This does cost an extra $19.98 a month, but it gives you the ability to work with 3 different vendors. You could Stripe, PayPal, or Authorize.net, and it's very powerful. Create all of your products and services here, and you can define exactly what they look like. And for things like Stripe, you need to define them inside the Stripe platform, and they will auto-populate directly inside of here. Next, you want to do is create your invoice format, and guess what? It's customizable. You can customize it the same way we talked about before. So if we wanted to do a preview of this, and by the way, here are your custom fields, just like before, you could insert any other things you want, including your client portal link as well. But if you want to take a look and see what this looks like, that's what the invoice is going to look like. You could have this any way you want. Notice one other cool feature is your clients can actually log into the client portal to pay the invoice. So it makes it very integrated and very interesting. Here's the send invoice button. You can send an invoice to one client, or you could send them to many clients all at the same time. And when you're ready, you click send invoice and it does it. When people start receiving the invoices and paying them, you could actually check to see whether they paid, pending, or overdue right inside of Clientfolio. This is a very easy system to use, and a lot of our clients find it very helpful. Now let's go to the next module. This is called Manage Groups. This too is an optional module, but it's very, very powerful. It's what I use to run my group coaching program and mastermind. So basically what you get to do is you get to set up a group any way you want, and you could choose clients for your group. So you could choose a group of clients that you want. You could take those clients, you could basically include them in your group, and when you've completed this, you just simply click on the submit button. And now when I save this, this actually becomes a fully created group. So Mitch's newest group right here, and from this tiny little 3 action button here, you could do a whole bunch of things too. Add private notes, which I'll show you in a minute. You could edit the group, you can delete it, deactivate it, or send an onboarding package directly to it. And you get to choose which onboarding package you want to send to that group. So it's very convenient. It makes working with clients very simple. So under Manage Clients, what you get to do, first of all, is a list of your clients. And if you see this little red dot, that means that they have an outstanding invoice. Okay, so invoice sent to this person and it was not paid, it's overdue. So you can see pretty quickly by going to the Manage Client list who has outstanding invoices. But the other thing you could do here is you could import your clients. Now watch this, this is really cool. You could import your clients by setting them up as a CSV file and uploading them with this button, but you can simultaneously send them one of your onboarding packages. And if you choose to send an onboarding packages, from here you can either also add them to a group, or you can create a new group from simply importing a single file. So if you created a new group, sent an onboarding package, uploaded the CSV file, when you click import, all of that happens automatically and you're ready to coach that new group. Next is stats and goals. Under stats and goals, what's happening here is that you are going to now select a particular client and you are going to define what you're tracking for that client. You could set those labels up any way you want. You can name them anything you want. But once you do this, they are set for that client. Well, let's say, for example, that you are a stop smoking coach and you always have the same stats and goals for all your clients. You can go up here and click Set Universal Names for stats and goals. And now whatever you put in here, that's how every new client will show up. And of course, you could change them and customize them as you need as well. So stats and goals is important because it helps you get set up and you get to choose the client you do it with. Now let's go finally to the session screen. So I'm going to click on session and I get to choose which of my clients I want to coach. And I notice here I could choose an active client, I could choose an archived client, or I could choose a group. So I'm going to choose an active client. This is my favorite fictitious client. I'm going to show you the session screen. Now this is the screen that most people spend most of their day in because they're taking notes and assignments. Now, one of the beautiful things about working with multiple coaches and this software is there's this secret little feature up here called private notes. So what you get to do here is you get to actually create a note that will never be seen by anybody but the person who has access to that button. Now what that means is that if you're sharing a client with another coach, then you could pass messages back and forth, or you could use this private note system to create a coaching template that you could use for every session. You use it any way you want. Notefield is a word processing system. You could add anything you want and you could change the way it looks and format it any way you want, including links and images, anything you want, paragraphs, every fonts, sizes, everything. Set it and it's done. Same with the assignment field. Next, what we want to look at as we go further down the screen are the past sessions and the past session block. Now, we can edit any past session we want by simply clicking on the link and noticing here is the entire past session. Now, in this case, there was no accountability questions used, but you certainly could do that. Let's say we wanted to edit and resend the homework. The reason you can do this is because a lot of people go from session to session to session, and all you have to do is just save and continue, and you can come back later and edit this particular homework. Now, by the way, anything I type now, anything I add here will be saved as part of the permanent record. So if I can even send new homework, I can include notes, whatever I want to do, I can do it just as if it was an open session, because it in fact is. Now when I save and close that session, now at this point, we have done so. So this is a very powerful system of seeing and editing past sessions. The next thing, of course, is that you get to select on the fly the accountability questions that you want your clients to answer for the week that you are coaching them. Once you click OK, at that point, these questions will reset to the new questions, and that will be on the homework you send as well. My workflow is step 1, check last week's session. Step 2, check to see if they entered their stats and goals. So in this case, I'm happy they entered their stats and goals. Now I start the session and we're ready to coach. Now, if you notice, those 2 steps used to take me about 5 or 6 minutes because I was searching for emails. I was opening up spreadsheets to see what they put in or what I put in. Bottom line is this little system here saves me a lot of time. So once I'm in the session, I'm taking my notes, I'm creating my assignments, I'm then formulating my accountability questions, and now we get down to the bottom of the page, and here is where I drop my recording in of the session. Now I use Fathom to record my sessions, which means the second it's over, I have a link, I can drop it right in, and I am all set. Now I make a decision. Do I want to send client portal access? And this, by the way, overrides the universal setting, so if there's a day I don't want to send notes, I can leave that out. I can include stats, client report, and accountability questions as well. If I have files I want to include, I just upload them right here. And then finally, I can even preview the homework before I click Send Homework Now. And now at this point, when I say Show Preview, you're basically seeing what your homework will look like when it is sent. And remember, you get to control the elements of what this looks like. In fact, you get to completely customize the entire homework email the way you want it using the custom homework template. Overall now, you have seen the majority of the system. I've shown you the little secret private notes page. There's some nuances here. So for example, if you want to have a lot more space to write your notes on, if you're on a tablet, for example, you have that little control there. If you want to get rid of the left menu while you're working, have a little more space, you could do that as well. Now let's take a deeper dive into the company menu. Notice a few things that are very important. SMTP settings for you, so that if you choose to, you can actually send all of these emails from your own email system. A lot of people don't need that, so they just use the system we provide. You could also, in this case, you could change your payment method if you're paying for the system on a monthly basis. You could add a module. This is where you'd purchase the module for professional group coaching and the billing and payment module. But also now we get to the coach and client productivity reports. So the reason that this is so cool is because if I click this button called Coach Productivity Report, I'm going to get a list of all of the coaches in our community. Now, by the way, I only have one coach, and that's me. So I'm going to show you, imagine if there were just a list of coaches here. Now this, by the way, tells you I ran 176 sessions, and I ran 44 sessions with Jane. These are the dates I ran every session. This is the session length every time I run it. And if I click any of these show more buttons, I'm going to actually see the entire homework and accountability questions and answers and attachments of every single assignment that this coach has sent. Now, in a multi-coach organization, this is a great audit tool. In fact, the other report called the Client Productivity Report will break it down by client so you can see multiple. If we did, again, Jane Smith, it would now show you for this coach, here's all the sessions. For that coach, here's all the sessions. So every coach will be able to drill down and see what everyone is doing. Ultimately, you have just seen the entire Clientfolio system, but one more thing I want to go over, and that is the tutorials and video training system. These are all recordings of each of the sections I just showed you, and you can right-click on any of these, open link in new tab, and it will do so and open this in an entire window. So you could literally move this tab side by side to watch it with, if you have two screens, and watch it while you're working with Clientfolio directly. And it makes the whole system simple to use and easy to use. If you're starting out for the first time, I say go to the first one, which is getting set up. 6 minutes long, follow the steps. It will take you through the edit profile stuff I just showed you, and you should be on your way. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, you could always email the company at support@Clientfolio.com. clientfol.io. Support@clientfol.io. This is Mitch Russo, signing out.